What's going on, friends? Logan Myers back here for Cinephellas.com. It's 31 Days of Horror, and tonight we're going to be talking about Stephen King's film from 1983, The Dead Zone. And let me start off by saying this is the first time I've ever seen this. I watched some of the TV series starring Anthony Michael Hall. Has no relation really to the movie, but never seen this movie, so it's first time watching and reviewing it. So the setup of the film, we have Christopher Walken starring Johnny Smith. He's an English teacher. He gets in a really bad car accident, ends up in a coma for 5 years, and he wakes up out of this coma 5 years later with life really moving on without him. And he wakes up and he has these psychic powers, and it really sets up the rest of the film. So right off the bat, we get a glimpse. We get to see a young Christopher Walken back at like the Deer Hunter days. Really fantastic actor. And in this role is Johnny Smith. He's very convincing. He's a torn guy. Waking up out of this coma, he has these powers he really doesn't want. He can see the future, and he can really stop bad occurrences from happening. And this is, a different character for Christopher Walken, but after watching this film for the first time, this is probably one of his top 5 performances. A story in relation to a serial killer. There's a cop in town that he's helping out, and he's trying to figure out if he really wants to help out this cop. With his psychic powers now, he can figure out, these cases and help out the local law enforcement. There's another character with Martin Sheen, the old Martin Sheen. Charlie and Emilio's dad is, this really corrupt, sinister politician in town, and so you can see what this guy's about, what's going to happen. So this is a guy that you really don't want running for local politics or even running for presidency that he wants to do. With Martin Sheen playing Greg Stilson, this guy is not good, and he really does not need to be running for president. With his character, you see it really evolve and all these bad things happening, and then leads up to the end of the movie. And like I was saying with Johnny Smith, he was in this coma for 5 years. He was dating this girl in the beginning of the movie. They're in love. They want to get married. He ends up in this coma. He wakes up out of it. She's moved on in life. She got married. She has a kid. So it's a really heartbreaking story. This is a film really that stands out on its own in this Stephen King universe because it's more of a drama piece. It's a slow burn. And with the direction of, David Cronenberg, it's very bleak. It's very cold. And just a lot of emotions in this movie. You see what this character's going through, coming out of a coma and having these powers, not really wanting them, and him wanting to be with this woman and have his family, and everything didn't really turn out good for this character. But throughout the rest of the film, with Johnny Smith's character, he foresees like this occurrence happening with these kids playing hockey on the ice, and then they fall through, it breaks, and he's trying to tell the parent, like, hey, don't send your kid to play hockey today because something bad's gonna happen. And that was just a really great scene in the movie, him just like freaking out like Christopher Walken does and trying to tell this asshole dad, like, don't send your kid to play hockey today because somebody's going to die. Some people in the movie, really believe that he has these powers. Others are very questionable about it. They think he's just kind of crazy after being in a car accident and going into a coma. But leading up until the end of the film, the very end of the movie, it didn't end as I originally thought. It's totally different. And overall, the momentum and the overall story in this movie, I actually loved it up until the very end of the movie. I thought it was kind of a weak ending with this character, but that was probably my one negative remark about The Dead Zone is the very end of the movie. Besides that, David Cronenberg, huge fan of his, with Scanners, and I did the review of The Fly last Halloween for 31 Days of Horror. Huge fan of his, and he definitely has a very stylistic approach to making his movies. If you watch a movie, you can tell David Cronenberg, directed it. Just the way, the use of photography and colors and the shots. Fantastic director on this. Being the novel by Stephen King. Stephen King movies in the 80s all had this kind of atmosphere and this feel to them. And The Dead Zone definitely fits into what I'm talking about in this era. And really, they hold up today. 2018, The Dead Zone was released 35 years ago. And me watching it for the first time 35 years later, it still holds up. It doesn't feel out of place. It's just a great story that keeps you involved. And seeing what happens to this character, this English teacher, and everything he goes through from the beginning of the movie up until the very end. I love Christopher Walken in this movie. Again, one of his best performances, top 5 performances for sure. So overall, I'm going to give The Dead Zone from 1983 a 4 out of 5 hair pieces. So what did you guys think of The Dead Zone? Were you guys fans of the TV show? What did you like about The Dead Zone? What didn't you like about it? What's your favorite movie in the Stephen King universe? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit subscribe. This is Logan Myers signing out from sweet Southern Castle Rock. Until the next review on 31 Days of Horror. Cheers!